And we're back with more Woodleague Warrior games. So this time we have the Savage Novelty Honkers. I have no idea how that team name came together. On the left, in our best of three, we're starting things off on Infernal, and we got Jacqueline on Zagara, Lemons on May, Alalia on Anduin, Moon on Leoric, and Fishman on Sylvanas. On the right side of the map, we got Sons of Stitches. Love it, by the way. So, the Sons of Stitches with 1,000 Suns on Rhaegar. We have Crixus on Jaina, Dinoleon on Anubarak, Acuable on Acubable on Vala, and Loki is... Ooh! Look at that! We actually get a multi-shot build on Vala. Alright, this might be the map to do it, if you want to play it. Again, if you're not really familiar with this, so this is Division 5, which is currently the lowest division in Heroes Lounge, the amateur league in Europe. Back in the days, there was Division 7, now they consolidated the leagues a little bit, and Division 5 is essentially the new Division 7. So welcome to some Woodleague games. Now, the level of these guys is all over the place. You will encounter the occasional bronzies, there's a couple of silver players in here, but in Division 5 you will also see, I don't know, like some gold, whatever there may be. So there's a wide spread, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. But we've seen amazing builds, choices of heroes, and also some very questionable plays. So it should be a fun one. There's definitely a lot of chaos that reigns, and it also provides a very nice contrast every now and then with the top level play that you're of course getting in most of the bigger prize money tournaments. So if you're not familiar with this, you can go to heroeslounge.gg. You can sign up as even an individual player if you're interested in playing, and play with like-minded people, you know, not be tied to just the shit show that is Storm League, for example. So very easy to just find a couple of like-minded people to properly play in this setup that allows you to play a bit more competitively with not having to get a full 5 men to sign up for a tournament, for example. So Vala with multi-shot, I mean, we can talk about this a little bit. It's not something that you normally see in any game. Multi-shot is, from all the builds that Vala can execute, the one that is played the least, but we have seen the occasional multi-shot play, not only on the Korean side when we played, or when I commentated the last Korean tournament, but also every now and then in Europe or North America. Doesn't happen a lot, happens very rarely. If you see it happen, it is mostly on this map. The idea obviously being that you have so much AoE that you can very well stack during shrine fights even before that, and then once that you're battling it out on the shrine, not only do you get a lot of damage in against the minions that you're trying to grab for the objective, but also against your opponent. So if you stack this properly, you are going to get a lot of value out of this as the game continues. In most cases, either an arrow build or of course the traditional multi-shot build, auto attack build is more powerful and will give you more at the end of the day, but there are some situations where this might make sense, and since we are on a level where preference picks, preference builds are playing a much bigger role, this could be a really nice choice here for the Sons of Stitches, who are not playing with Stitches, by the way. So that's already an F, and we'll see a little bit how much they can actually do with that. Tiny changes that we saw in the past, obviously playing a role here too, but yeah, for now, let's see how much they can actually do with that, how much damage we're going to get from Vala, and how they can perform here. Specifically, when you're feeling uncomfortable playing with an auto attack build because you think you're going to die too much and lose out on the gambit advantages, this one can be a very nice choice for this map. And Vala is already going down, so that's one of the moments where you're like, woof, thank God that I didn't go for auto attack. Nah, not quite there yet. All I'm saying is, like, especially on this level, multi-shot not necessarily a horrible choice. If you are playing on a high skill level and you have an auto attack style, you can of course over the course of the game just do enormous amounts of damage to the front line and melt them away after you unlock Manticore. But here you might just be better off with the AoE damage and also trying to get the objective. And we'll see what we're gonna get from that. But yeah. Either way, with that, now comes the next little move. And here comes the attack against Jaina. But yeah, Vala coming in once again with another couple of nice hits and 17 stacks by now, so he's nearly able to get herself the quest reward. We get Sylvanas moving with level 7 now into the barb shot. And they have the lead on talents. But the red team is not really too impressed. They're trying to go for the kill and nearly get it against Sylvanas, but it is Vala that again went out a little bit too deep. Completed the level 1 quest. It's at 21 stacks now, but still was killed, so that's 2 kills for the blue team. and it gives them full control over the shrine, which allows her to very quickly, now get the Infernal and then start to push through the bottom of the map. So, nice moves by SNH, the novelty honkers in blue. And apparently they're honking a lot in all chat, is what I was told earlier. So, yeah, there's some kind of meme attached to that. Apparently they're a little bit active with just chatting in general. But here comes the kill against Zagara, potentially. She's at least getting locked down for a moment. But they're not able to finish off. Now, the Punisher has been taken. It's a frozen Punisher to boot. You don't want to proc the jump in front of the gate! No! Get away! Get away! Get away! Get away! No! Not like that! Oh my god! It is 2024 and still teams don't know how to bait a Punisher over the wall. I want to claw my eyes out when I see that. It honestly... my heart bleeds! My eyes are bleeding too! Go and bait it over the wall. You want to stand behind the wall, then attack with a ranged ability or a ranged attack so that the Punisher jumps over the wall, and it will always lead to you losing less of your infrastructure here. Now the way this worked out, even with Leoric sitting at the top lane, they nearly lost that bottom fort. So, unfortunate. Vicious Acid for Zagara. So we get Baneling Slow on level 7, also not something that you see all that often, but here comes a potential level 10 lead for the blue team, which could allow them to be a bit aggressive here. Rhaegar, of course, great to take down some of these creep tumors over here. That will help them to try and limit the amount of vision that Zagara gets through those creep tumors. We get the Ice Wall for Mei, and we got a Light Bomb over here too. Entomb kicks in, and on top of that, we're also getting Mind Control plus the Devouring Maw. So, yep, level 10 on both sides. Get a Ring of Frost, and damn, they are quickly going for the talents with Ancestral Healing. Only Dehaka hasn't made a choice yet, so they're running the global that will help them later. Ice Wall comes out. It's the best wall. It's fantastic. Nobody thought it was possible, but she built a wall. It's a fantastic wall. It's a beautiful wall. It's the best wall. She's amazing. So, Mei does her thing. Now we got the, well, the Maw against 3 and no follow-up. That's the moment where you really want to have a proper follow-up. And I could have seen, for example, a Wailing Arrow after a Maw or something like that. But, yeah, a lot of ults were thrown out there, but nothing really of substance that would have led to a kill. Everybody is essentially just chilling a little bit and waiting for the next potential shrine fight, where especially Valla is going to unleash a little bit more of her powers. Leo at the top has a lot of time and space to deal with the topside fort, and Dehaka is finally moving in to stop him. But down at the bottom of the map, as they're pushing in even further, the blue team might actually be able to take the fort down already. So yeah, coming quickly. Rain of Vengeance. Normally you want to use it as a follow-up, so they just moved out of the way, no problem for them. But she sits at 40 stacks essentially. That's not too bad for the second objective. Again, you get the damage increase over here, so that's already them sitting at an additional 80 on this. You can definitely do some solid work when you're just carpeting the entire shrine. And that's what we're going to see in just a moment. I like that they're taking the camp too, so even on this level, if you have the chance, always go for the camp around the time the objective spawns. A little bit too early, honestly. I didn't think that they would cap it right away, but they did. But prepping that out, just as the objective spawns, would have been nice. Now, on the other hand, here comes the Cocoon. Everybody's starting to rush away here as... Oh, another triple Maw. Somebody has to follow up on this. Entomb is in. Now we need the damage. It's Leo that falls. And they just can't really get a lot of... Oh, actually, they can get kills. They take Anubarak out, and then the Ancestral is too late to save the Haka, so he falls too. And all of that around the shrine. So, the Sons of Stitches starting to have a little bit of an issue, because that's not really the moment when you want to lose your teammates. Yeah, that gives free reign on the objective again to the blue team. And that, with all of the efforts that Valla has taken to get her stacks together for level 1, that doesn't look good. 23,000 damage for Valla. Top damage in the game now, followed by Zagara. Probably going to overtake her in a few seconds. But as is, down at the bottom of the map, we now have the Haka. They essentially gave up on this particular shrine. They're already way too far behind. They don't have a level 13 talents. They just said, okay, well, let's just cut it out here. Send the Haka down to the bot lane. Try and get them at least the experience level 13 talent. And they took a camp. The only thing that I want to see from them now is a proper bait of the Punisher over the wall. Now, that said, in this case, it's not going to make that much of a difference anyways, because the gate is nearly destroyed, so it's just a second and they buy it themselves, but just for principle's sake, it would be nice. Great Entomb again, but a nice ring from Jaina, too. Really good ring here. The Maw also not too bad. So they're always catching like 3 or more with these. Not all, it doesn't matter if it's a Maw or if it's an Entomb, but they're hitting them hard. They're just stacking up too heavily. Sylvanas goes down and so does Jaina, so that's at least shutting down the push potential from the blue team a bit as all of this plays out. Gate is already gone, so now you don't have to worry about baiting things the wrong way anymore. 5 kills to 2. There's the jump, and the next defense is on. As already mentioned previously, I don't really expect them to do too much around that. With that I basically just mean I don't really think that they're going to do too much damage here. You can already see that the team is not even really interested in making any big play. They fell back and instead were starting to take some of the camps here. So that's one that they quickly locked in. They have a 1-level lead now, 3 kills ahead, 1-level lead as well, so yeah, still looking good on all of this. On top of that, of course, we're now having at the top lane, the Haka just waddling away again, just trying to get the team close enough so that they can get level 16 around the same time as the opponent. I mean, that would be the ultimate goal, especially when we're talking about the next objective, of course. You don't want to end up fighting every single shrine, just sitting massively behind your opponent. That's always the worst case scenario. So here in the middle, again, the ring and the kill. Zagara just doesn't have the hit points to sustain herself through that. So a nice double kill as they follow up with another one against Sylvanas. Job well done here. That was a good one. That was a really, really nice move by them, and the perfect play to now set themselves up for not only the cap at the bottom of the map, but also for some structural damage. And that's exactly where they're going with this right now. So they're trying to take the bot lane wall out. The Ancestral there may be a little bit of an overkill, to be absolutely honest with you. I don't think that was necessarily needed here. But, well, as it stands, they're at least taking the wall down, they're taking level 16, so now they are absolutely even with the opponent. And the question then remains on how much more can they do when it comes specifically to the next objective. So, well, let's wait and find out here. Vala's at 52 stacks, so she's now at 35,000 damage and still top damage in the game. And if she gets hits in against like this, when everybody stacks up on the blue team, they can do a lot with her. The problem is she gets chased and killed by Leoric. And she's not going to be the only one here. They're trying for another attack, and they are likely going to get it here. Yeah, they go... Whoa! And Uberak gets out with barely any hit points. Rhaegar's on the run too, still slowed, and now May's moving in, and she's finally the one that gets the kill against the Uberak. So, yep, nicely done. The double kill, 7 kills now against 4, and so far so good. I mean, once again, it is the novelty honkers that are absolutely crushing it here. 7 kills to 4, and I feel like every single time that the red team is looking to potentially have a chance to get back into the game, they're just getting stopped. Now we have the push coming straight in for the mid lane, and with the help of Sylvanas and Zagara, they can easily take that fort out. Damage output, still Vala with top damage in the game, but we have... Oh, there it is, the kill against Zagara. I was just saying, we haven't reached that threshold yet where they can finally turn the game around. I don't know if we ever will, but what I can definitely tell you is that at this point, we're having some really nice efforts made by the red team to claw their way back into this. Essentially, from the beginning, they have been playing from the back foot. They always had some problems here. They were always falling behind by talent. They got a couple of heroes killed just as the game started out, but now they are starting to do a little bit more work here, and it's working quite nicely for them. With the objective, if they claim it here, they could potentially take the bottom fort out. That, on the other hand, is a really good decision by the novelty honkers. They come in, take the top side fort. They got Sylvanas, no problem for them to claim this one. So they're trading structures with the opponent at least. And there's little to nothing that the Hagen could have done about it in this situation. So all the forts are now destroyed on the red team side. Not a single fort has been taken down on the other hand by their opponents. But again, we'll see how much more they can now do in this situation with the help of the Punisher at the bottom of the map. So yeah, what exactly is going to be the play here? I mean, what can they do again? Jump is already happening. So far, so good. So they're starting to make their moves for this at the bottom of the map. I would be shocked if they don't take at least the fort out here. We're now 14, 15 minutes into the game. So now the Punisher is starting to do a little bit more damage. That should easily be enough to take that fort out. And they indeed destroy it. Might even be able to destroy the wall over at the keep if they follow it up that far. Which they definitely should. But we're not quite in that spot yet. So they're slowly starting to get there. But they're also falling back. Starting to get a couple of camps instead. But it's getting close. I mean, they're really starting the comeback here. They're really doing a great job pushing into a potential comeback with all of this. And this could work out nicely for them. Yeah, what are they behind? Like, not even half a level right now. So this is pretty powerful and strong from their point of view. They're doing a great job with this and could very easily overcome the blue team. With Vala stacking further and further and just getting more and more damage as the game continues, this could definitely be a thing. Now, stacking process has slowed down significantly, should be honest about that. But she's sitting now at an extra 120 damage on every single shot that she YOLOs out there. Has gone on level 16, by the way, still into Manticore, which essentially any build that you have out there is essentially the go-to still. But I'm also looking over to what Anduin could potentially do after another Entomb, or maybe even after more. If there's a proper light bomb engage where they can stack up even more stuns and slows. We've seen previously how especially May has been slowing down heroes that were trying to rush away from a fight and were getting absolutely demolished there. So the next objective should be pretty interesting. It's going to be a pretty hefty battle about that. Especially now as both teams are locking in their level 20. Zagara obviously with a heavy Hydralisk focus there towards the end. And culminating that with Pack Instinct on 20. We got Shatter for May. And Half Buried Alive for Leoric. So really a lot of good talents and power spikes that we're now getting from the team there. On the other hand, for the red team, they should not engage into a fight until they have their own. And there we go. We get Cold Snaps and now a bit of potential cooldown reduction. Vala with a Farfly Quiver. Rhaegar with the double Ancestral. But now with 2020, I mean, again, we are in a situation where it's all about what can they do in the team fights. Which team is getting the better position in those next few battles. And who's winning the next Punisher. If keeps are starting to fall and the blue team gets the lead and gets that catapult pressure that they want to execute there, then they are eventually going to just run over them, I think. But if the red team is now grabbing more objectives and finally able to get a bit of a head start here, they might just bring this back. They go for Zagara, take her out, and the Ancestral is keeping Mrrrrggglll alive. Think he might have been able to get out here, but they go for Leoric, and Leorki falls too. Leorki is down, they go for May, and she is about to die. Gets the heal from Anduin Lemons, and they made lemonade. Okay, so that's a kill, that's a triple, and they go for the crybaby. Anduin is about to fall. He got out. Anduin got out. Okay, good for him. Was always good at running away. Employs the French defense once more and is able to run behind the wall. So now we have 8 kills to 7, and all of a sudden we're looking at a comeback. Yeah, the red team, they have slowly, steadily worked on it, 1 kill at a time, 1 move at a time, and now finally gotten to a point where they have taken the lead in kills. Dark Lady's call there, barely missing, but the camp will be taken. Leo is providing some vision, but even with that, they were not able to connect Sylvanas' ult. Now they get the camp, could push for the top a bit further, but the objective is already active, so the goal is going to be to get that Punisher. And this is a big one, of course, as well. I mean, we're talking about another frozen Punisher. When you're trying to push for structures and you don't run Sylvanas, this is essentially the one that you want to have. Vala hasn't really gotten any massive stacks since we last talked about it. He's only gotten a few, but it still helps them to easily go through that Punisher. 34 stacks now. But the blue team still wants to fight this out, as it seems. Yeah, they get the Entomb in. Vala, fine for now. Moves back out. Frozen Punisher. Ring has been used too. That one didn't do a whole lot of work, but they're at least chasing Anduin. Light bomb, stun. Even the Haka with his ult. They have the isolation, and the Punisher jumps in for a piece of the action. Gets another follow-up stun, and that is the end of Anduin, and the blue team really messed up on this one. That choice to go into a fight where you could basically not win the objective any further because your opponent was already sitting at 35 stacks is now costing them. The escape is too costly. They are losing 3 heroes in the process, and now they are all lacking for defense. So yes, this is a bit of a disaster. Another jump proc, and attack after attack is happening here as we have May fall. That's going to be the end of the keep in the middle, and honestly, as this continues, we might see them lose even more. They might lose the game here. The best of 3 series could start off with a win for the red team, as we got the Sons of Stitches doing their thing. Vala with 62,000 damage, less than Zagara, but it doesn't matter. That is game, and that is victory for the Sons of Stitches on Infernal Shrines here at Division 5 of HeroesLounge.gg.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Game number 2! Don't be confused, they switched sides. The Sons of Stitches, who won the last game, are now over on the left side. And they're of course going up against the Savage Novelty Hunkers. On the left, 1000 Suns is playing Lucio. We got Loki on Murky! Yeah, that was Murky with a cough or something, or a sore throat, no idea. Denoleon on Muradin, a Curable on Tychus, going into an auto-attack build apparently. So after the Vala performance that we saw with multi-shot, we now have pressed the advantage as the level 1 talent. Crixus on Jaina, and over on the right side for the red team in an attempt to force game number 3. We got Jacqueline on Tracer, Eulalia on Malfurion, Moon on Dehaka, Lemons on Diablo, and Fishman on Sylvanas. And damn, we got action immediately! Tracer is already dead. His first blood as Murky is highly unimpressed and moves towards the top side instead of helping out in the team fight here. Saying like, yep, I'm gonna have none of this. I don't care. Riding the shark here too. So yeah, it is Murky time. The battle in the middle just continues. They're not really caring about any of this. Tracer, of course, on the red team side. She was first blood, but she's already coming back so the death timers are low. But she's not the only one that falls early. It's Diablo that gets killed next. So Tracer finds herself in good company. The Lord of Terror gets eliminated. And Murky is having a suspiciously big amount of time at the top lane to get initial damage in against the wall. I'm actually kind of blown away by that. Now, has the problem that with Pufferfish, if Tracer does her job well, that's not gonna get too much for him. He's all currently trying to cover that as best as possible. But yeah, Tracer needs to be on top of this. But Murky definitely hasn't played Murky for the first time, so is trying to make sure that he gets some Pufferfish value. Egg over here, positions so he can rotate between the lanes whenever killed, and now that the 1 minute mark has passed, the teams are actually going for some camps. I always like that, specifically since we're talking about one of the lower divisions in the amateur league here, where you would expect a lot of mistakes, a lot of preference picks on heroes, and weird builds to come out, weird calls to happen during games, and a lot of, you know, just chaos. But I like that you can tell that at least here in the early game, the teams have a clear idea of what they are supposed to do when. It might not be the cleanest rotations, it might not be the perfect timing, but once that we have the mercenary camps appear on the map, they are diligently starting to go for the first few camps. Now I would like to see even more of a focus on this right now from both teams, to just capitalize on the fact that you have so many camps here, but pushing with the bot lane camp, also not a bad choice, starting to make their moves there. Top side, yeah, Tracer is going to get a kill against Murky. So Murky about to go down, and even Dehaka was already helping out there. So they apparently don't like frogs all that much. 2 kills to 0, and with Tychus starting with press the advantage on level 1, he now works on the synergy within the rhythm. That is really one of those where you want to follow up on stuns and slows. So if you're going for in the rhythm, you want to get good value out of your first few rotations, and then it's really about slows, stuns, and all of that. Hits 6 and is getting put in a bit of an awkward spot there, as Malfurion is able to connect the root completely with him and puts him soundly to sleep. So, yeah, problem for them there. Murky still up at the top against Dehaka this time. So, yeah, Dehaka currently the one to try and deal with Murky, as down at the bot lane, the damage of Tracer is desperately needed. And they're going for Tychus, and one good way to stop somebody from stacking is, of course, to just, well, kill them. They're even invading on the seed and try to claim the first one here. So, yep, some seed pressure is already being established by them. And, of course, the red team, in this case, they really, really want to win this one. They want to force game number 3, have a chance to bring this back. Thousand Suns on Lucio is escaping. By the way, Mrrrrggglll with Sledgehammer as his level 4 choice. Sylvanas once again in the mix for one of the teams, and that means that we're seeing even more pressure at the bottom. And this is the second time that we're now seeing Sylvanas for the team in red. I guess technically not quite correct. We see the novelty honkers for the second time with Sylvanas, but since they switched sides, it's not twice the red team. Yeah. Either way, I suppose you know what I mean here. Well, as this continues, we got the next move towards the top now, and Moon is getting attacked there. Or might get attacked by Murky in just a moment. So yeah, we're not quite there yet. Down at the bottom of the map, we're getting some extra damage from the blue team. They're completely left alone here, and honestly, this is a bit baffling to me. This is a... I guess they were rotating because they were saying, hey, the next objective spawns at the top side and we want to get the camp before we go for it. But they completely abandoned the bot lane without leaving a single hero here, not even their side laner moved over, and that results in a free 4. Talking about bad choices! That was a very bad decision by them. And absolutely wrecked them. So, yeah, Murky gets lost at the top for just a moment and killed because of it, but it's now 2 kills to 2. Both teams on level 8.5, but one just lost a fort for absolutely no reason whatsoever at the bottom of the map, and that's a setback. It might result in a second seed taken for free, but even that is questionable because Mrrrrggglll jumping in, gets the Stormbolt out. They are trying to contest this. Dehaka attempting to buy the team some time, gets attacked quickly. Sylvanas is pushing the top side out and is hoping to get the camp into a spot where they can do some counter damage at least. But I'm not so sure that's going to happen. Tracer goes down and the blue team is getting Mrrrrggglll. Yeah, Mrrrrggglll dies. So they're getting Mrrrrggglll killed, but it's still a 4 versus 4. Good damage from the top side camp, so if they can take the top side fort out, then sacrificing the bot lane is not that big of a deal. But now the second seed gets taken by the red team. The problem that I have is that Murky at the bottom of the map is again left alone, and with the siege giant camp that you also escorted in, that means damage at the keep wall. Topside fort has not been destroyed, so this is not really a great trade or anything for the red team. They got the seed, granted, but I just don't think that was worth it. Damage at the bottom keep wall, losing a fort? Yeah, I don't really think this is enough. But if they get the objective, if they get the next seed, then maybe they can work on that. And oh god, we get Haymaker. Octograb for Murky, Haymaker for Mrrrrggglll. And Tychus is going, as usual, for Odin. But, yeah, level 10 abilities on both sides. Now we have Mind Control for Sylvanas, and they are pushing in the middle a bit. More camps have taken, Mrrrrggglll, and he actually gets Haymaker value. That's a kill! Ha! Look at that! Playmaker value! Big one right there. So, that is actually pretty nice. We got 5 kills to 3. We have down at the bottom of the map, with Diablo now dying, the red team still trying to get at least some experience, I suppose, yeah? Moon is, he's pretty much heavily moving out there. I'm a bit worried about that. If the blue team would have rotated down, they could have maybe gotten themselves even a kill here. Problem for Diablo is that he has now lost all of his soul stacks after he came back, so he's a bit weak. Here comes the Stormbolt again, Apocalypse attempt, and Odin gets stunned out for just a second. Lucio is helping the team as much as possible. Murky, yeah, Octograph was used earlier, but he will be back soon. Murky as well, because he gets killed, but there's Mrrrrggglll getting targeted by a lot, not all the Sylvanas, but as he intentionally, the entire team wanted to go for the kill here. Couldn't quite work that in, but at least they're keeping Murky alive, so good for him. Now, we got 5 kills to 4, 1 level advantage for the blue team, 41 stacks for Tychus, which isn't too bad, honestly. 41 stacks for Tychus, that's actually pretty fair, that's pretty solid. It's nothing insane. It's nothing where you can just do like massive work as this continues, but it's a solid foundation to build on as we're moving into the mid game. Only one single fort has been destroyed so far. Both teams are desperately trying to change that. But with 5 kills to 4, you can see that this is still fairly even. I mean, Mrrrrggglll is getting another Octograb through, this time against the Haka at the top side, and it leads to a kill against him. So the Haka is gone, extending the lead in experience just slightly and allowing the team to grab level 13. Fish Tank is in, and we're getting the Bronze Beard Rage for Mrrrrrggglll. Has not suffered too much from picking Haymaker. That's obviously always a bit of a liability. If you're up at the front line, you get taken out. Keep in mind that they are essentially playing with one front line. Murky as your side laner, it's not really the tankiest fella to have at your side. So Mrrrrggglll going into Haymaker, he doesn't really want to be in any prolonged battle where you have to tank through all of this. For that, you really want to have your avatar ready. They're going to go into a few more decisive plays. Here comes the Stormball. Great, fantastic ring from Jaina. They kill Sylvanas nearly instantly. Murky moving through Tranquility from Malfurion. Murky down for just a moment. He'll be back soon, but they're going for Diablo, and they might even be able to get the Haka after they just killed the main tank. So yeah, the Haka is low, eats the Stormbolt, Lucio the one with the final few hits, and that is a triple kill. They even get Malfurion, 4 heroes destroyed. Incredible team fight now by the Sons of Stitches, and the chance to not only grab a couple of camps, but also go and take out more structures here. Huge teamfight victory, and honestly, all of that starting off with a fantastic Ring of Frost that we got from Jaina here. She's at 21,000 damage only, but it's not only the damage that she brought out, but also the utility that came with it. It is currently Tychus that has most of their single target damage with the auto attack build that we've seen previously. Spray and Pray as his 13 choice, and well, they've done well here. Both teams with the 2 seeds, which means that we're now going to get Garden Terrors in favor of the blue team. So, fantastic position for them to take some additional structures out. And honestly, what worries me a little bit more than any of that is how well they opened up that gap in experience, because now we're talking more or less about 3 levels that they are ahead, and that translates directly into a level 16 advantage that we should be getting with this particular push. So yeah, that could be a problem. They've lost all of their forts already, the red team, and now they're likely going to lose a little bit more, even if it's just walls at those keeps. They're desperately attempting to defeat the objective at the bottom of the map, and that helped. But the problem is that level 16 talent that I alluded to a second earlier. So now we have it. That gives us Manticore. I was about to say like Manticore. Sizzling attacks for Tychus. Same icon here. Same idea behind it, or a similar one at least. And now here comes the attack against Diablo once again. So the harder Tychus hits, the worse for Diablo, who is dead again. 3 levels ahead, 1 talent ahead. Diablo died 4 times already, and they are not stopping. They are trying to go for the destruction of keep number 1 in all of this. There is still a Garden Terror up at the top lane that is doing work here too. The Haka goes down, so does Murky, but again, they don't care about Murky here. He'll be back in a moment. Diablo dies just after respawning, and that puts the red team still in a spot where they're down 2 heroes. 5 versus 3. They're just losing complete control of the game here. Murky for the victory. We saw some great octograbs and good value from him. He's sitting at 100,000 siege damage. So Murky just being an absolute nuisance in this game, and also contributing heavily to these team fights that now led to a keep destroyed at the 11-minute mark. And Murky is working at the next one at the top. The minions are taking it down eventually after Tracer started to chase Murky down, but that's 2 keeps destroyed now, and not a single fort has been taken on the side of the blue team. Not a single fort has been destroyed here. So absolute perfect positioning now in the mid and late game for the blue team to lock in a 2-0 victory. Tychus is sitting at 70 stacks. Murky is also getting closer and closer to doing more progress on his level 4. He has gone into the toxic build-up here, really working on slime, and with his level 4 he is getting more and more value out of this too. So the attacks, they keep coming. Great ice block from Jaina, Apocalypse, and the tongue from the Haka. Jaina, she gets the ring out, 0 value though, and gets killed a moment later. But there's the trade. Sylvanas falls too, and again, all of this is still happening with the red team not even having access to level 16. You can question if that was the best choice. I mean, in hindsight, it definitely wasn't. They're losing the entire team! It's a 5-man team wipe as the entirety of the red team gets absolutely demolished. No chance for them. And the blue team is looking at an opportunity to end the game, end the series, convert that match point into a quick win. 18 kills to 6. They have a 4-level advantage now, and they're easily moving on to the core, trying to take this one out. The damage is going to come in here, and I don't think they can be stopped. Sylvanas respawns. It's too little too late. That's game. It just has to be. A 2-0 victory for the Sons of Stitches here by the Woodleague Warriors in Division 5 of HeroesLounge.gg. Nicely done, GG, and well played.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.